What is going on, guys? We're bringing you another Axis football video. Now, this video is for people who are like not sure if they want to mess with this game or not sure if they want to get it or not. That's who this game is for, as we have the Ohio State Buckeyes versus the Los Angeles Rams. That's the game that we have right now, which is a very interesting matchup, to say the least. Okay, as we are coming up the field. Now, I'm going to give you some pointers on this game, like as to what makes the game pretty good, what makes it worth getting. It's a $30 game, okay?
He steps back to pass.
And I'm not going to really get into like a debate on whether or not it's worth $30. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk to you about why this game is a pretty good option to get. And it starts with what you're seeing right here. As you can see, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. I have their roster. Now, it's one thing to have a customization option where you can just kind of create teams. That's one thing, right? But anyone could put that in their game and it could still be crap, right? And Aaron Donald just got to me, and Cook ran it in. Cook is, I don't know if that's a real player or not. I know I put Aaron Donald on here, and he was the one that got that sack that caused me to lose the football. He is one of those players that are maxed out. This game doesn't have 99 overalls. They just have A+, basically. So Aaron Donald got to my quarterback, forced a fumble. And I tell you what, he is really tough to deal with in this game. And that's another thing about this game. You create the players, like, or you create the team logic as well as the attributes. Of course, you're going to create the attributes. But now, I don't even know if Aaron Donald's on the end there. He's really hard to deal with in this game.
Second down. Here comes the pressure. And he stopped.
But anyway, I'm going to get into what makes this game a good game, okay? We're going to talk about that. And people might look at this and say, well, I've heard somebody said this in one of my comments. They said, well, it's the same thing as last year. It's not the same as last year. It's very different. And I'm going to explain why it is. It looks similar, but it's more enhanced. The crowd looks better. The players they look like they did last year, but they are more advanced, okay? Let me show you some teams here. Let me just get into this here. I'm going to show you my Cincinnati Bengal team. Take a look at my uniforms for the Cincinnati Bengals. I have not created their roster yet. I'm going to do that pretty soon. Now, I'm sure that uniform isn't 100% exact, but it's definitely good enough. I will tell you that, okay? Let's look at some of my other teams. And I created some generic teams too. We just looked at them. Those are my Rams. I have that roster made already, pretty much. And you can't really create stadiums, but you can create fields. Let's take a look at one of my generic teams, because I'm in the process of creating my own league. Like I'm creating a league, basically, is what I'm doing. I created a lot of these teams here. I created all of these teams here, actually. If we want to be real here, I created every last one of them. Okay. Some of these teams are like, I created this team, that team. But anyway, you get the point. I didn't create these top teams. These teams were already in the game, but I created all these teams here. So anyway, I have another Rams team, by the way. But let's go to them so I could just show you, what I was basically talking about when I said this game is better. It starts right here. This is the main thing right here, play selection. Now, as you can see on the left-hand top, it says offense first down. When I hit R2, it goes to second down. On the right-hand side, it says 0 to 3 yards. You hit L1. This is basically how your team plays in those situations. Now, as you can see, if it's third and 8, between 8 and 11, this team there's a 71% chance they'll run it. 29% of the time they, no, I'm sorry, 71% of the time they're going to pass in that situation. I would, I personally think it should be, more, because I don't really think you need to be running the football in that situation. Now you have, 3rd and 12 and up. I don't think you should ever be running the football in that situation. So basically, you could change that with every down and every down with each yardage. Like, obviously, see, even 3rd and short, I prefer, I think it should, I'm more into 50-50, because I just like the passing game. Just the fact that it's 3rd down. Now, if you go to 2nd down, okay, the run is obviously more. I can accept that. That makes perfect sense. That's the perfect time to run the football. Now, okay, so let's change it up. Let's change the yardage. Okay, it's, let's say it's 3rd and 12 and up. Okay, my deep passes are increased now. You know, but if I change the yardage to 3rd and 4 through 7, again, I'm gonna change the run because I don't like the idea of running the football in that situation either. Because it's 3rd down, you don't want to do that. Okay. Now you have. I'd like to throw some medium passes. Increase the medium passes. You know, I don't worry. You don't necessarily need no deep balls in this situation. Okay, then you got screen and play action. But my highest probability in 3rd and 4 through 7 is short and medium passes rather than the deep ball. Okay. Obviously now 3rd and 8 and 11, my deep ball is my highest likelihood. So when you select this stuff and you play against that team, you would notice the difference. But if you don't change this stuff, a lot of the teams, they just run the football a lot, and they run the football in like 3rd and 7 or something like that, and it's kind of makes them a little bit easy to stop. So you want to go in there and do this. This is also good for your creative team. If you create a team that's pass heavy, you can come and change all this stuff to make them pass more often than on just about every situation. If they are a running team, like let's say they're a college team that runs the ball a lot, you could change that stuff in here. You know what I mean? And then let's take a look here, okay? Now, when you run the ball, where does he run? Do they run up the middle? Do they run around? If it's I would say if it's 3rd and short, let's go to 3rd and short. Obviously, I would run inside more. But if it's 2nd and short, maybe I could take that one. No, 4 through 7. Maybe I could take that one on outside. As you can see, you're more likely to go on outside than that. But 0 to 3, you want to go up the middle. But you can edit all this stuff. That's the point I'm making with every team in the game, every team you create. That way, not only you are creating a team, but you're creating that team's identity. Obviously you can create their roster, change the name of the players, change their attributes. So you're not just creating a team with a bunch of avatars with attributes. You're not doing that. In the past Access football games, you gave them attributes, but all the teams pretty much played with the same logic. And they were a little predictable. You could just tell what they were going to do. This one is not like that. Now, one thing I don't see the CPU doing audibles. Audibles in this, they don't shift formations. You can only audible to another play that's in the same formation. That's one of the downers to this game. The other Access games are like that. That is not a super big deal. That's not something I would go crazy over and get mad and ran over. That's something. You know what I'm saying? They're an indie developer. They're going to have stuff like that in this here and there. My only thing is with that right there, that is a huge game changer. The past Access football games were super easy. I kid you not. Access Football 20, I never ever lost in that game. Never even came close. I just totally destroyed the opponents every single time. This one, that is not the case, as I'm going to show you. Now, another thing I want to tell you is player attributes. Okay, I'm now look, as you can see, I'm 10-0. Okay, let's take a look at my schedule. I'm gonna go over something for you. I'm 10-0 because I maxed out my running back and my kick return on speed. Okay, his speed was maxed. You will dominate in this game if you have max speed runners. You will absolutely dominate. You need your fastest guy should be 88. If it's an offensive player, I would max out defensive guys, but not offensive because it's just too simple and it's too boring. Now look what happened here after I edited my player and made his attributes lower. As you can see, my games are getting close now. I almost got beat by the Cleveland Coyotes. They're not even that good of a team in this. They have a losing record, but they almost beat us because I had to be more smart on my play calling. They forced me to throw the football and stuff like that. Now, I did that by going up here to settings. I went up here and I went to my team and I just edited my players because you could do that. You click on that and you just edit your players and all their attributes. And if you really want the game to be challenging, because I did this also, let me show you. Okay, so when you go to standings, as you can see, they have the same NFL formation. I mean, they have the AFC, and they don't call it AFC and NFC, but they call it American and Nationalist, they call it. Like when you see a team like the Boston Whalers, somebody who's good, and you want them to be a pretty good challenge for you, you want them to be a contender, you want some of these teams to give you a good chance, a chance that you can have a good game with them, right? What you would do is you would go edit that team, increase some of their attributes, change some of the team logic. That's exactly what you would do. That way, if they're on your schedule and you got them coming up in the future, you can look forward to that game. That's not going to be an easy one. We're going to have to really get it together if we're going to beat that team. That's basically how that would be. So yeah, this game right here is far different than Access Football 20. When you look at it, it looks the same, but it is definitely enhanced because I played Access Football 20 yesterday just to look at it, and I noticed a big difference. The models, I mean, the animations are changed. The throwing animations are different. The audience looks way different. The audience is actually moving now. The other Access Football games have they look like empty seats, but when you look closely, you see like cardboard cutouts, and they're not even moving. There's nothing going on there. It just looks really bad. So anyway, yes, this Access Football game is fun. It's enjoyable. I like playing it. No, it's not something you play instead of Madden or anything like that. It's not that type of game. It just isn't that kind of game. It's like Super Soccer Blast isn't something you compare to FIFA. It's a different. I look at it differently. I judge it differently. You know what I mean? It's obviously not as deep visually from the graphics and all that stuff. It has no license for anything, so it's definitely not that same type of game, even though it is football. But anyway, that's my take on this game. Yes, this game is worth getting, and it has its share of glitches. It has some problems here and there, and I'm probably gonna do another video kind of talking about some of the other issues that this game has, just so that we can be completely clear on that. But anyway, if I was you and I'm looking for another option, yeah, you're gonna have to change some of the team logic. You can have some pretty cool games. It's not really boring. It's definitely worth it to me. I never recommended an Access Football game. I just played them and just kind of played them. But this one I definitely recommend.